been a minute. I hope everybody's good. Man, this is the first day off I've had in a couple of weeks, and it's been an absolutely just wonderful stretch of some really inspiring, fun stuff. It's good to see you guys. Welcome to Greasy Time. I'm JD Simo. So I checked in with y'all just for a minute last week when I was with Chris Isaak. So I got home from the tour a couple weeks ago, from the first batch of trio things, and I had a couple of sessions, but I didn't. But I thought I was basically going to have a few days off, and before jumping into the Luther Dickinson record and some other stuff I'll talk about. But anyway, yeah, I got a call from Chris Isaak's lovely manager Cheryl, who I've known for a little while. I've played on a couple records for Chris these last couple of years that Dave Cobb produced, and a thing that him and Stevie Nicks did together. So anyway, but yeah, his man Herschel was sick and couldn't do the Ryman show. And they were like, "Are you in town?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is going to be a lot of work. Fun, amazing." But so anyway, yeah, they reached out to me like Friday night and said, could I learn the show and rehearse with them the next day? And so I just made a pot of coffee and stayed up all night, and it was like 26 songs. And we rehearsed. Rehearsal went great, and then we did the gig. And it was really, really fun. I don't know how I did it, honestly. I mean, I know I've done some serious cramming before for certain things, but that's about the most I've ever had to retain. And I was using charts, but man, it's just a lot. There's nothing easy about it. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. The guys were really sweet to me, and I had a wonderful time. And we will definitely do some more stuff together coming up. And my good friend, I don't have a tremolo Strat, so my dear friend Zach asked Zach. I had just run into him hours earlier at Joe Glazer's shop, and he had this beautiful Strat that Brad Paisley had built for him. And when they called me immediately, I'm starting to starting in my brain going, okay, well, I know we're gonna. Before they sent me songs and stuff like that, I was like, well, I know we're gonna play, the big songs and all that stuff. So I'm starting to, I was starting to think about, okay, well, I can use this guitar for that, just starting to do it in my head. And I was like, well, I don't have a tremolo Strat. And so, I mean, I have tons of friends that have them, but I'd literally just seen Zach. So it was like the freshest thing in my brain. So he was gracious enough to let me borrow it for the show, and I used it for probably 30% of the show. But anyway, this is my old 335. People ask about it all the time, and people ask, like, have I gotten rid of it? No, I haven't gotten rid of it. It's just I've gotten really into my Telecaster and some other stuff. But this is just such an amazing get. It's got this beautiful rubbery. Just absolutely beautiful. And notes hang, I mean, needless, it's an old, really good, PAF Gibson, so notes. It just hangs forever. And and then it goes out of phase in the middle with this switch that Joe Glazer put in a long time ago. Just an amazingly inspirational instrument. It just hangs forever. Headstrong Princeton, it's not even that loud, and you can see like how much it just responds. So anyway, I've been having fun with this last couple of weeks. I might take it out. I might take it out on the tour. We're leaving on Friday. We're just doing a handful of shows. We're finishing up the trio shows for the year. We're gonna play in Burlington, Iowa on Saturday, and then we're gonna be in Minneapolis at one of my favorite clubs in the country, the Dakota, on Sunday. And then we're going to Chicago to play Fitzgerald's, and then we're playing the Kent stage in Kent, Ohio, south of Cleveland. And all those places are places I love playing. So grab some tickets and come see us. It'll be me and Thomas Banks and Adam Abershoff. And then at the end of the month, right after Thanksgiving, we're doing what we're billing as J.D. Simo and Friends, which is basically, going to be a revolving cast of really good friends of mine, as the name indicates, expanded band. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. That's going to be at 3rd and Lindsley on the 26th. And one of my favorite groups here in Nashville is on the bill with us that night, the Weird Sisters. I love them. They're fantastic. Check them out. We just a quick update. I mean, there's so much that's gone on these last couple of weeks. I just want to hit on everything. Luther Dickinson and I did get together, and we cut basically a full EP that's really, really cool. We're probably going to cut some more. I mean, we're going to cut some more stuff like when we both get back in town around Christmas and we have some time. We're just going to keep it going. I think we've got what we're going to probably release, already done, what we did last week. But it was so good. And we ended up playing a little gig here in Nashville, get our rocks off, and it was a wonderful time. And I love playing with him. I mean, such an embarrassment of riches, getting to work with people like that. But Luther and I have a very, very deep connection. We've become very close, and we see so eye to eye on everything, virtually. And but the thing, and I talked about this in my chemistry episode here, we have so many similar influences, but we don't play anything alike. Like we never, and we play together a fair amount now, and especially now that we've really dug into like doing something together, it's like we've committed to it, and we don't play anything alike, and it's really fascinating because it's like everything really suits, but it doesn't. We're never gonna we crisscross all the time, but we don't plow the same furrow, and it's fascinating because he's certainly had an amazing career of collaborating with different people, and I've been really fortunate myself, and there's some guitar players that I play with that we're so similar we end up literally at times playing the same thing, which is spooky. so yeah, it's very rare that you find that kind of chemistry. So anyway, really excited. It'll it's going to be a minute before it's released to the world, obviously, but gosh, it's great. And I finished up a solo record, which is I've been working with my buddy Joe McMahon on and off, like in little 1 or 2 day spurts over at least the last year, if not like year and a half. And we've just kept getting together whenever schedules permit and just throwing stuff on the pile. And we finally like have gone through and like been like, this is a record. And it's really exciting because it's it leans heavy on me, Abershoff, and McMahon's chemistry, which is incredible as well. But then also Ron Oaf, who I'm lucky enough to get to work with quite a bit. Ron played bass with the Cape Brothers back in the day and played with Levon Helm for a long time, was in the band. And Joel Saunier and a bunch of really deep Kevin Gordon. So anyway, it's been great working with him because he is an absolute medicine man. So it's probably the most unaffected piece of music I've ever like worked on. There's so many influences in it, but it's nothing is pointing directly at anything specifically, which has taken me a long time to be able to say, because obviously being derivative, it's just like with language, you mimic to learn language, and musically it's incredibly enjoyable to play musical dress up. And that's also how you learn. You listen to stuff you like and you assimilate it and you try and sound like it and so on and so forth. And I don't want to open up a can of worms of, like originality and all this kind of stuff, because I do think that it turns into, it can turn into a negative, pointless conversation really quick. And I'm all about positivity. I at least I try, but this batch of music, I'm really, I'm really proud of. It's something else, man. So anyway, that'll be out sometime next year. So, and I also went down, with all that, I went down to Savannah, Georgia. I flew down there to work with my dear friend Dave Cobb, playing on a project that he's producing, and got to play with some amazing cats, and got to meet Greg Kohler, who's an amazing engineer from Los Angeles who's worked on some of my favorite stuff of the last decade. And I'm flying back down at the end of the month to do another week's worth of sessions for them. And I can't wait to reconnect with all of them. Some amazing musicians and engineers, and just world class. So it's been a lot, man. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to going out and playing with the guys. I'm looking forward to all these other sessions. I'm producing a couple of different records coming up. One right when I get back from this tour, and then another. There's a lot going on. I'm already rambling. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope to see you out on the road. If you can make it to any of those shows. And then also there's they're posted on the website. I'm going out. I can't do I'm not doing the whole Allman Family Revival tour like Luther and Cody and a bunch of other people are doing, but I'm doing several right in the middle. I'm doing all the Florida shows and one or two others I can't remember, but they're posted. So I'm gonna fly in and do that. And a lot of other cool stuff. Man, this guitar feels good. What do you think? Should I bring it back out? Bring this in the Telecaster and the ES5? Just playing it, not even amplified. Well, anyway, it's a rambling one. This is my first day I've had, like, just to ease off the mountain, so to speak. So I apologize if I'm a little overtly chatty. Just very grateful. I'll leave you with this. It never seems to fail that talking about pressure and like anxiety and all this kind of stuff, when you're surrounded by incredibly talented people that are also very positive, surrendering into that energy, it always feeds. It's really, really interesting to me how that happens. And I'm really grateful for it, because it's like, if you can like diffuse the anxiety and sort of push the anxiety down and just kind of access the collective energy. I know I'm getting hippie on you, but it's real. Certain people and certain environments will pull stuff out of you that you are not capable of outside of that environment, if you will. And that's really fascinating to me. Because we all have our things that we do. And this sort of goes back to the chemistry conversation I had several weeks ago on here. But I'm endlessly fascinated with how, like, you alone, left to your own devices, can do this, can play this, and invoke this, you know, whatever it ends up being. But then the second you introduce other talented people, whether or not you're playing with them or if they're just present, and the environment itself of, like, you know, high pressure, high anxiety sort of situations, professional situations. I mean, you certainly, I'm sure, can kind of fall, you know, like collapse into it. But if you like surrender to it, and then it just pulls you way higher than you would ever be capable of on your own. And it really fascinates me. So anyway, I got some more stuff I'm going to get done before I pick the kiddo up from school. So I'm sorry for the extra long one. I hope to see you guys soon, and lots and lots of love from me, okay? Keep it greasy.